Epistemology, the study of knowledge and truth. Basically, how do you know what you know? Epistemology deals with justification for beliefs, a priori and a posteriori knowledge, which is knowledge gained through deduction versus knowledge gained through observation, sources of knowledge such as perception, memory, introspection, inference, and testimony, and how does a person derive truth from the world? Ethics, the philosophy of morals and values, basically good and bad. Three major branches are metaethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. Metaethics seeks to define what is goodness. Basically, how can we tell from what is good and what is bad? It seeks to ask what is the very nature of something that is versus something that is bad. Normative ethics seeks to answer the question of what we ought to do. What are people morally obliged to do? Like, should we or should we not legalize abortion? Three major branches of normative ethics are virtue ethics, deontology, and consequentialism. Virtue ethics deals with living a life of good moral character. Basically, if you practice doing good things, over time you'll become a good person. Deontology says there are certain actions by their nature that are good or bad. So if a deontologist believes that it is wrong to lie, then that action is wrong no matter what the circumstance, even if lying in that circumstance were to bring a positive outcome. In contrast to this, consequentialism says that the moral value of an action is based on its outcomes. If an action you take causes some good in the world, then it is morally good. But if an action causes harm to the world, then it is morally bad. A tool that consequentialists use to judge the moral weight of an action is called utilitarianism. Utilitarianism holds that an action is good if it leads to the greatest amount of happiness for the greatest number of people. Logic. Logic is the study of reasoning and how to form good arguments. There are two types of logic in philosophy: formal logic and informal logic. Formal logic deals with the form of the arguments, basically its structure. Do premises, if true, lead to a conclusion that is true? Premises and conclusions would be represented by letters to study the form. If you ever get really heavy into formal logic, it looks a lot like math. Informal logic deals with the actual validity of arguments, if an argument is well-grounded, valid, or sound. This is also where you deal with logical fallacies, and inductive and deductive reasoning. An example of deductive reasoning is 1 + 1 = 2. An example of inductive reasoning would be trying to guess the number that comes after 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Informal logic gets its name because it doesn't deal with the actual form or structure of arguments. Metaphysics. Metaphysics is the study of reality and existence itself. It seeks to answer questions as: do humans really have free will? What makes you you as an identity? The nature of time and space. A lot of physics and astrophysics bleeds into metaphysics. It explores the concepts of souls and abstract entities, also life and death. Aesthetics. Aesthetics is the philosophy of art and beauty. It seeks to explore whether there are objective or subjective judgments of art, what even counts as art in the first place. Does art even have to be made by a human being? Does AI art count as art? Does something beautiful that occurs naturally in nature count as art? What is good art versus bad art? What is beauty and what makes things beautiful? What determines the meaning of a piece of art, the artist or the audience? If two people have a disagreement on the same piece of art, is there an objective way to determine who is right? Things such as art theory, literary theory, film theory, and music theory can be used in the philosophy of aesthetics. Existentialism. Existentialism is a philosophy that asks, what is the meaning of life? A major concept in existentialism is existence precedes essence, meaning there is no purpose in life when you are born, but life's meaning must be created by the individual. Existentialism also deals with absurdism. Absurdism is the unfairness of the world, usually meaning when one tries to perform an action that can affect an outcome unto the world to no avail. It's the sort of illusion that we have more control of our lives than we actually do. The notion of the absurdism is that there is no meaning in life or existence other than the one you give it. There are also the concepts of bad faith and authenticity. Bad faith is living a life that is inauthentic by uncritically conforming to social norms and not choosing your own path in life. The opposite, authenticity, is having the freedom to live your own path in life that is in accordance to one's values. Political philosophy, the study of how society should be built and run. It deals with topics such as governments, laws, liberty, justice, authority, states, and even ethics. It attempts to answer questions like, what is a government and what makes it works? And why do we need governments? Where do rights come from? What type of political powers are legitimate? Certain schools of thought in political philosophy are liberalism, conservatism, anarchism, capitalism, socialism, libertarianism, and many more. Philosophy of religion, the study of the basic concepts, assumptions, and arguments associated with religion, not to be confused with religious philosophy, in which its conversations take place within a particular religion. The philosophy of religion seeks to have conversations outside any one particular religion. It deals with concepts such as polytheism, monotheism, and atheism. Polytheism, the belief of many gods; monotheism, the belief in one God; and atheism, the lack of belief in God. Philosophy of religion seeks to determine how to interpret religious texts. It seeks to answer if an omniscient God is incompatible with free will. It also seeks to determine the difference between rational theism, irrational theism, and irrational theism. Rational theism is the belief in evidential reasons for the existence of God. Irrational theism is the belief in God without evidence. Basically, faith. Irrational theism is believing in God in spite of evidence for atheism. Share this video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.